In this video, we're going to be going through the subject requests area of your portal. We can access this either by clicking on this tile on the dashboard or by coming to the navigation pane and clicking here. This takes us to a separate overview. As breaches has been covered in a previous video, we're now concerned with subject requests. This initial tile shows a visual overview of the status of any subject requests that are currently open. The tile below shows the type of any requests that have come in during the last 12 months. I'm now going to show you how to add a request, and to do that I can click either on these tiles or on the subject request tab up here. Before I continue, I'm just going to explain that this is a mocked up school, so none of the details you can see relate to real people. The first thing the portal shows is a list of all open and closed subject requests that have been received. And I'm just going to talk you through what these different headings mean. So, the request method is the form of the request. For example, has a letter, email or phone call been received? The type of request applies to the rights of the data subject. So this could be a subject access request or a request for erasure, sometimes known as the right to be forgotten, or it might be other requests such as a copy of a pupil record or a freedom of information request. Received by is the member of staff who has received the request. Received shows when the request was made to the school, whereas the request date is when the request was actioned. For example, a parent may email the school on a Friday night, which would be the received, but the email isn't opened until Monday morning, which will be logged under the request date. The school then has one calendar month from the date logged as received to respond. So it's not from when you open the email or the letter or whatever form it comes in as, it's from when the request arrived at the school. Now every time you update this request log, the portal will create a date and timestamp for you, as we can see is listed under last updated. Okay, so let's look at how we go about recording a subject request. Now, just before we do that, I need to explain that only DP school staff can make these entries into this part of the portal because your general staff don't have access. Right, so we're going to click on Add New. And you can see it's just a simple way of recording all the information we need. So under the request method, we're going to type that it was an email. I'm now going to put that this email was received by the form tutor of a child. And for the owner, I need to select from my list of DP staff who is going to be actioning this particular request. So in this case, I'm going to select myself. The date received is when the email arrived in school. So we're going to say that it was Wednesday. The date of request is the day the form tutor opened the email, which is today, and click Done. Before I select the request type, I'm just going to write what the request actually consists of. Before I select the request type, I'm just going to write what the request actually consists of in this scope box. So quite a standard request. Email received from Mrs. Smith informing the school that she and Mr. Smith are to divorce. All future correspondence is to be sent to both parents separately. Paul is to remain at his current address with Mr. Smith. Mrs. Smith is now contactable via etc. I'm now going to work my way through all the fields that relate to the requester. Now the relationship to data subject is that she is his mother, And under proof of request identity, I can write something like known to the school or as per provided at admission. Now I need to log all of the details of the data subject, so in this case it's her son. I now have to enter Paul's date of birth. So I click on the little calendar mark here. He wasn't born this year, obviously. So if I click on the year, it takes me to an option to select by decade. I'm going to say he was born in 2004. So I click here. I then select the correct year. And then I'm going to pop in his date of birth. Under proof of relationship, we can pop as per admission data. I then type student under his role. Now, if I scroll up again, the request type is where I need to log what is actually being asked for. And in this case, it's rectification. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click here. So we have to make a change to all of the notes we have on Paul in terms of his contact details. I've clicked rectification. I now click save. So I've logged this request now, and I would come back into this ticket once the action has been completed or in order to give an update. So I'm just going to pop down what I've done so far, and I do that in the add new comment box. So I've popped, as per request by Mrs. Smith, Paul's contact details have been changed on the management information system and a note made on his pupil record. You can see I'm just literally writing down exactly what I've done. I now can change the status of this request. So I click on the pencil mark here, come under new, and I'm going to select the one that best describes where we're at. So we've done the request complete. The justification is all information now changed as per request. I click on update and I then click on save. So having done that, if I just click back on the subject request tab, I can see that Mrs. Smith's request is now at the bottom of my list. And in order to come back and make any changes to anything at any point on any of these tickets, I would just click View. That takes me back into the ticket. And if we go back to the overview, you can see this latest one is appearing just here.